Hey everybody, sorry. Got a little bit caught off guard there. Welcome back to another Horological Happy Hour. I'm Justin.
I'm Rob.
And we have a jam-packed show for you guys tonight.
We've been on a tear.
Yeah.
We have gotten some of the most incredible pieces like we've ever seen here.
Yep.
It's really quite impressive.
Yeah, it's been like one after the other after the other.
Yeah.
It's been pretty nuts.
Yeah, and stuff is moving, and like even again today, we had things on the list for the show that are not here because they already sold.
Yeah, so if you haven't checked out our inventory, make sure you do, because we say it every week, but we're updating it every single day. And really, like some of like the best, most interesting stuff that I personally have ever seen, even in almost 10 years of working here, has been coming through our door. So we tried to pick 5 things that we thought were interesting and a nice diverse selection of some of the crazy stuff that we have, and we hope you guys like it.
And then when we're done with that, there's been a lot of chatter online about watch reviews and kind of watch journalism in general and like objectivity and subjectivity and all of that. So we thought we would discuss that a little bit, since that seems to be in everybody's minds at the moment.
And then we're going to hit on Rob and I, our favorite stone dial watches of all time. We actually just published a really, really interesting deep dive on kind of the history of stone dials, and Piaget and where it all stemmed from and everything over on our blog. So make sure you check that out. It's actually like a really, really spectacular article.
It feels like there's a big like kind of resurgence of the stone dial thing happening. It's like, it's back to the forefront again, which I love.
Yeah, me too. Totally. And then we're going to introduce a dumb contest that Rob and I cooked up between the two of us later in the show.
There's nothing dumb about it.
So stick around.
It is very exciting. So you want to hang around for that.
But let's go ahead. Let's make it a true happy hour, Rob. Go ahead. Pour us some delicious, delicious Balvenie.
We have some fantastic Balvenie Caribbean cask. Another gift from one of our fabulous viewers and friends.
Keep vamping. Continue.
I have to concentrate now. I'm spill it.
All right. While Rob is, thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. While Rob is pouring himself a nice, healthy pour, we're going to go ahead and jump right in, because we have a lot to talk about. And the first watch, actually, sorry, let's cheers, Rob. I can't rush this, buddy.
No.
It's been a week.
Rush? We have an hour.
It's been a week.
Thank you all for joining us.
Cheers, guys.
We do appreciate it.
Appreciate you. All right. First watch we're gonna talk about this week. Brand new watch from a brand new brand. As I hiccup my way,
there?
Yeah, hiccup. I broke into the Scotch a little bit early today. We are going to talk about the new Biver Automatique. This is so much better than I expected it to be. Not that I didn't think this was going to be a great piece when the brand was launched a few years ago. When I read all the specs about this new second model that they came out with. But to get this in person and to actually get to handle it, really, really, dig into it, I'm thoroughly impressed.
You're getting ahead of yourselves here. Why don't you tell the good people who Biver is? Because this is not a brand that is going to be a household name as of yet.
True. So Jean-Claude Biver, he's been, a towering figure in the Swiss watch industry for almost 50 years now. He has been linked with, he first and foremost, he revived Blancpain in the 80s. The brand was defunct, and he and a partner bought the brand, relaunched it, brought it back to prominence. He was on the board of directors at Swatch, CEO of Hublot, CEO of Tag Heuer, head of watches and jewelry at LVMH, among other things. In 2018, he supposedly retired from the watch industry, and then 4 years later, with his son alongside him, he launched their eponymous brand, Biver.
So to talk a little bit about the watch that we have in front of us now, the way I understand it is that when they set out to do a time-only watch, because the first watch they did was an incredible grand complication of massive scale.
The Carillon Tourbillon, which if you haven't, look it up, Carillon Tourbillon. They are like dripping in precious gemstones, and they all cost $550,000 was the base price. You could go up from there because it's like infinitely customizable.
So a very intense watch.
Yes.
And then, you know, they set out after that to make these time-only versions. And from my understanding, they set out to make the absolute best time-only watch they possibly could. Like a legit Jurassic Park spared no expense kind of watch. And holding this thing in my hands, I believe it.
Yeah, I do too.
I absolutely believe it. Every single element of this piece is absolutely perfectly executed. The finishing on the dial, the hands, and the markers, 10 out of 10.
So it's a yellow gold case, obviously. They call it a two-tone model, even though it's pure yellow gold. You know, yellow gold, 39 millimeter yellow gold case. And then you have this yellow gold dial that has two different textures of finishing, of brushing, basically, that gives it this like two-dimensional kind of feel. And then you have these gorgeous applied anthracite markers and hands and that, you know, central seconds hand.
Yeah.
So it's got a really unique look. There's a couple different variants of this, the Automatique. Couple different metals, couple different dials, but like spectacular. And the movement.
I was going to say, the case is 10 out of 10. The details and the sculpturing of the case, the movement, and like on the wrist, the size is perfect. It's discreet. It's incredible, but it feels like you're wearing a truly fine watch.
It feels really special, actually, which is not easy to do, especially in such a simple piece like this, where it's time only and it's one tone. It's just
It's
gold.
not like you've got a tourbillon or a bunch of complications or even a stone dial or something where you can kind of like rest on that attribute. You have to make everything perfectly for this to feel the way this does, and I applaud them. Even the buckle's incredible.
I think it's really interesting too that they went with two totally opposite ends of the spectrum for their first two models. They went insane gem set, you know, deep six figures tourbillon as their debut model, obviously to get the, you know, to get the clicks and to get everybody, you know, buzzed about the brand. And then they come out with this incredibly simple time-only model, but like Rob said, executed to absolute perfection.
Yeah. Super excited to have that because it's not a massive brand. There's not going to be a large number of these out there. Very small, very boutique. And for us to get one at this point, I think is very exciting. So I was pumped when I saw that thing on the counter the other day.
Yeah, like we said, the brand is barely 4 years old. And this model launched, I believe the model itself launched 2 years ago. You know, I can't remember if it was Watches and Wonders last year or if it was Dubai Watch Week. They debuted a whole slew of new variants of this model with the stone dials and all kinds of different things. So it got, you know, this was really the base, and now they're working to build out from there. And actually, kind of in conjunction with that, the movement that they developed, because it's a movement that was created specifically for this watch. 65-hour power reserve, micro rotor, insanely gorgeous finishing. All different, you know, types of finishing on the different components, jewels up the wazoo, like very, very technically interesting movement. But it's also designed in such a way that it's going to be their workhorse platform that they're already planning to add different complications from, you know, chronos, world time, all different things that they supposedly have in the works.
That's cool. I hope the brand does well because I would love to see them making more things. Like if this is indicative of what's to come, I think it's killer. It's not cheap.
No, it's not.
If there's one downside to it, it is not as accessible as you would hope for a time-only watch, sadly. But I think it's worth it.
So
I think it's worth it. I really do.
I do too. And I think when you compare it to other boutique, other independent brands that are operating at this level and that have the kind of knowledge and heritage and history, just, you know, with the Biver family, and somebody already commented, is it Biver or Biver? I don't know. I haven't met the man, so I really hope to one day, but I've heard it pronounced Biver and Biver, so I don't know. When you compare it to other brands that are doing similar things at the same scale, in the same way, like Recepi and...
I was going to say, at this level, in my opinion, you have to compare this to somebody like Voutilainen.
Yes.
Like this has to be in the same.
I think Rich Epi, Voutilainen, all these guys.
It's with these guys who are making these really high-end time-onlys where it's really about the watchmaking.
Right.
There's nothing else going on here. This is the purest form of like what we do in this entire industry. And I love that. We have to move on or we're going to talk about it the whole time.
All right, fine. All right.
But
incredible piece. Check it out. That'll be on our website very soon. Super, super, super excited to have had that. All right,
so
Rob, next up.
Last week, we had the watch that, in my opinion, even though it wasn't the first, it was really like the genesis of people really being into off-catalog gem set Rolex.
I already forget what watch was that.
It was the Leopard.
Thank you.
We had the Leopard last week, which to me is like, it's not a true page one, but within the public conversation, I feel like that's page one.
I agree.
This is now the watch that moved that conversation into the mainstream. Mm-hmm. This is the game changer.
Agreed.
That brought, and it's funny because this isn't even the first Rainbow Daytona.
I was going to say, the first Rainbow Daytona debuted in 2012. That was, I don't remember the reference number, but that was the white gold and yellow gold variants.
Right.
But that had, it's very interesting to put them next to each other now because we've obviously seen both. And when I think of Rainbow Daytona, this 116595 RBOW is the one that comes to mind. That previous generation had, square diamond indices. It had a black dial, but with red chrono hands. Like it was just, looking at it now, it feels messy to me.
The biggest differences here are the hour markers. The biggest draw is the fact that the hour markers use sapphires that are matching the gradient on the bezel for the respective locations. And then the contrasting subs, getting this beautiful glossy black dial with these gold textured subs. It almost looks like meteorite.
It looks like meteorite, but it's not.
It's like,
it's gold. It's like gold leaf almost.
Yeah, or like a tremblage or something. But like that is what made this watch really different, because the little round diamonds that they had for the hour markers on the white and the yellow, it was good. Don't get me wrong, it was great. I'd love to have one.
Sure.
But it wasn't this. And for whatever reason, this watch really turned everybody on to this off-menu Rolex market and really like ignited a fire there.
And honestly too, like we have now seen so many gem set Rolex over the years from literally like everything. We've seen it all. This specific generation, this specific watch is still my favorite. I think this is the best execution. I think this is the best combination. It's wild, but also somewhat restrained. It's wearable. And like you said, the biggest thing are adding the graduated sapphires as the indices with those really, really slim settings, because again, when they had the square diamonds, you had this big honking setting with a square diamond set into it, and it just felt like an incomplete kind of design, whereas this is super cohesive and just legitimately stunning.
The continuity of it is perfect. I think there's something too about the rose against black that I don't know why, it's just so striking, it's stunning. And I think this is the third one we've seen? We do not see a lot of
I would have to look, Rob. Yeah, we definitely
can count on one hand.
We don't
without
see a lot,
a doubt.
I'll tell you right now. But I mean, the other part that I think people don't, we've like hammered on it, over and over and over again, but people don't realize the quality of stone that is used, the quality of setting that is used. Like this is high-end jewelry combined with high-end watchmaking. They're all natural stones. They don't use, artificially colored stones in any way. The diamonds that they use are all inclusion-free. They're of the highest possible caliber, quality of stone. And the settings are just like masterfully done. It's really, really, really impressive.
If you have only seen an aftermarket set Rolex, you cannot make a decision on how you feel about these pieces until you have seen a true factory set Rolex.
I agree. Like I said, when I think Rainbow Daytona, this is the one that comes to mind.
Yeah.
This is our third one, so Rob was right. We've literally had 3 of these. And this model came out in 2018, so it hasn't necessarily not the longest span.
And they discontinued it for a minute, and then apparently it's back, but again, it's off menu, so
who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows how many they make? Who knows how many are out there? And it's one of those watches where it's truly unobtainable.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
That's another one that is coming soon. That will be listed on our website very shortly, so keep an eye out for that one if you'd like to learn more.
This next one is probably the one that I am most excited about.
Honestly, me too.
I can barely contain myself because I have wanted to see one of these for the entirety of the 10 years that I have worked here, and we finally have one.
This thing is
finally have one.
Bananas. This came in last week, and we all basically lost our mind because, like, if you can't tell and you weren't able to see it from, across the room.
From the International Space Station.
I was going to say, from the edge of the stratosphere, this is the JLC Reverso triptyque. So this, to celebrate the 75th anniversary of the Reverso line in 2006, JLC created the Reverso to end all Reversos.
Yeah.
Platinum case, 75 pieces. Rob, take it away.
We are looking at the main dial of the watch. We have a tourbillon. We have a 24-hour indicator over here. And then we have a 3-day power reserve indicator over here. In order to flip this one, I need to first unlock it with this switch here. Sorry, it takes 2 hands to do this. And then I can slide it. And your first glimpse here is of the perpetual calendar, which is actually on the outer case.
Yeah.
It's not even connected to this part here. Insanity.
So it's super interesting. I don't want to get ahead of ourselves here, but that actually, that doesn't have, it's not 2 movements. This is not 2. This is 1 movement. The watch, and the whole reason why that latch is there is because in the hinge, where it's still connected there before Rob flips it, there is a tiny little actuator that pops out and pushes on, a lever or whatever, whatever the mechanism
here in
is
the
called.
middle is there.
Pushes at midnight, and it instantaneously advances all of the perpetual calendar functions. So it is truly,
but that's
all powered off of 1 movement. But then, yes, even better,
we
this
have
side.
a full astronomic on the back here with the Zodiac and equation of time.
So you get a sky chart in the center there. You get the Zodiac, the calendar of the Zodiac around the outside. And if you can, I don't know where it is right now, but it's indicated by this little red line that is that makes 1 full rotation annually in that outer blue ring. You get equation of time with sunrise and sunset. You get sidereal time, and you get 24-hour civil time, all on that one side. It's totally bananas. You have it like that. All right. There's 2 hands on that reverse side.
I was going to do this while it's not looking at us because putting it on is not easy.
Yeah, there's those 2 hands. So the equation of time hand is the one with the sun at the end of it, and then the sidereal time is just the plain silver hand that's actually kind of hidden there right now. But just unbelievable thing. It's 18 total complications in a somewhat wearable case.
It's big. Let's not.
Okay, so it's the actual dimensions.
You look at it there on the monitor, and it's like, all right.
Sure, Rob.
It's not any different than some of those giant Richard Milles.
No, you're right. So the dimension, so it's 37.7 by 55 mil by 17.9 millimeters thick. So, I mean, when we were talking about this, like, to me, it's more of like an engineering exercise than anything else. I am blown away by how slick all of the integrations of all of these different complications, and still being able to flip it, reverse it, like a normal reverso, like pretty insane.
In my opinion, there was a time where if you asked me about like a super complicated watch, what do you like? I would have said the Terra Luna, because I've seen the Terra Luna. I think the Terra Luna is incredible.
I agree.
This blows it out of the water.
I totally agree.
The Terra Luna does not hold a candle to this watch. So, as anybody who knows me knows, I think reversos are one of the greatest watches anybody has ever made in the history of watchmaking. I truly, truly love them. I think they're historically important. I think they're very cool. They're unique. Art Deco, everything is great. This, if you're a Reverso guy and you're looking for the absolute like crown jewel of your collection, here it is. Are you going to daily wear this thing?
No,
Absolutely not. It is so heavy.
For me. It is so heavy.
I would have an arm like
platinum.
Popeye from wearing this watch. I would. It's giant.
Like we said, obviously, have never seen one before.
No.
I've never even
Never
seen one
thought
come
we
to.
would.
I've never seen one come to
Never thought we
auction.
would.
Like pretty insane. When it was made, so in 2006, this was the most expensive Reverso obviously ever made, with a price tag of $375,000.
Give us that Tourbillon one more time, Kevin.
Oh yeah, the close up there.
Oh no, I've got it running here.
Oh, nice, the close up cam. So $375, which like in 2006, that's an insane amount of money. Now, so it's a full set. This is go ahead and check it out on our website when you have a chance. This is full set with box, papers, an extract from the JLC archive, which is great. A commemorative book that it came with, and most importantly, in my opinion, it has JLC service papers from 2022. So you know it's actually functioning properly. It's been gone through. It's been gone over by JLC, which is pretty incredible.
Can you imagine the skill needed by a watchmaker to work on this thing?
Yeah.
This is watchmaking. This is why, if you're into the heaviest of the heavies, and I mean that in both literally and figuratively, this is it, man. This thing. This is available.
I'm done. This is available on our website. Rob's gonna need a moment.
I'm done.
We're gonna go to just a one cam shot here with just me, and Robert can take care of himself.
I've seen it all now.
We have it listed on our site for $175, which honestly, like when you compare it to what you would pay for a Patek, a Vacheron, any other major manufacturer, especially one with this kind of history and this kind of design clout just in a Reverso, like pretty spectacular. So keep an eye out for that. Check it out on our website. It's nuts.
Yeah. So what do we do? Do we do both of these?
Yeah, why not? We got time.
Yeah.
We'll do one. Which one do you want to do?
I mean, we could do both, truncated.
Sure.
Let's do both.
All right, we're gonna rip through our last two.
This is another one where we've never seen this watch before. And why have one Tourbillon on the show when you can have two?
Yeah. So this is the Girard-Perregaux Three Bridges Tourbillon.
I think this might be the first time we've ever had a Girard-Perregaux on the show.
It is, I think,
and it's kind of an interesting thing because this is a brand with a ton of history. The Gyromatic was a very important early automatic movement back in the 1950s. Like, they have a lot of history. They made a lot of really nice watches. But in the modern era,
go ahead, sorry.
They've kind of fallen off.
I was going to say that, speaking of history, so this design, and the reason why the Three Bridges is a GP signature is because in 1867, the brand's Tourbillon pocket watch, three-bridge Tourbillon pocket watch, won the gold medal at the Paris World's Fair. So, it was called, I think, like La Esmeralda or something like that. But it became very quickly this signature of the brand's movement architecture that they obviously just leaned into and have made their thing over the past 150 years now, and it's pretty amazing, actually.
It's really good. When I saw pictures of this watch, I imagined it was going to be massive.
Me too.
I don't know why. For some reason, I thought this was going to be like Grubel 4Z size.
46 mil or something like that.
And it's not.
No.
This is a fit under the cuff, discreet, lovely, wearable, fine dress watch.
Yep.
And as I learned today,
as I learned today,
it's automatic.
So it's so funny. Rob and I were getting ready for the show, and I was looking at this watch, and I was just looking at photos of it on our website, and I was doing a little bit of research, and I was like, what the heck? Like, you look at the movement, which we're showing, and it looks like a manual wind. When you look from the front, I see nothing. And I'm reading all the descriptions, like, I'm fine. It's a micro rotor automatic. I'm like, what the hell? So I reached out to our inventory team, and I was like, hey guys, I think we made a mistake here. And then I went and pulled that out of the safe. No, there's actually a micro rotor behind that gear up at 12 o'clock.
Yeah, the top bridge
is the
here,
barrel bridge.
I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but if I move it around, there's a micro rotor under there.
I had no idea.
So this
it's
is
so
a
slick.
self-winding watch, and then you still get a beautiful unobstructed case back.
With gorgeous decoration.
Which is really nicely finished. Yeah, I mean, I don't have anything bad to say about this watch.
The other thing that's pretty wild about this particular piece is that when this was new, MSRP was $180,000. Yeah, it's 40 mil.
Look at that. Under the cuff, no problem.
$180,000, and we are now listing for $76,500.
Cool.
So like,
it's a deal.
It's pretty cool. So go ahead, check that one out. That's live on our website. All right, finally, one more before we move on. We couldn't have another show without talking about the hottest brand on the market right now. We had to talk about a Journe. So this is the Octa Zodiaque. This is actually another limited edition piece from Journe. They only made 150 of these between 2004 and 2006.
Right, and only made with the ruthenium dial.
Correct.
Which is kind of interesting because there's very few watches where they were only part of like that LE series. So this is kind of a quirky one.
It is.
And it's really interesting because you can definitely tell that it's an Octa. You know, but it's not like he adds the moon phase or anything like that.
Yeah,
Instead, he chooses.
You get that classic Octa layout though, with the time, small seconds, big date, and the reserve de marche, the power reserve over there. But then on the outside, he adds in the Zodiac calendar, which is all powered off of the date mechanism, obviously. But it's tough to see in because the printing is minuscule on it. But it's actually, there we go. But that's actually an independent ring around the outside of the dial there that advances, to track the Zodiac calendar, which is pretty cool. 40 mil platinum case. You get Journe's caliber 1300 brass movement, which obviously everybody loses their mind over. And it's just a super rare, super interesting little wrinkle kind of in the Journe story. It's not one that you see all that often.
Nope.
It's been a minute since we've had one.
Yeah, and it's like, I like it. I like the Journes that are like this, that don't really compete with anything else on the market.
Right.
You think about the Resonance, you think about the Centigraph, you think about the Optimum. Like, these watches stand on their own because they're such unique designs. Even his old calendars are completely different than any other calendar layout that anybody made or is making. And I think that's when like Journe really excels. And this is right in there because this is like, again, show me another watch that looks like this, that functions like this. It's very cool. Very, very cool.
The other incredible thing about this particular watch, again, full set, box papers from 2006, so from the very end of the production line. I think the serial falls kind of right in the middle of the run. But most importantly, service papers from 2024. So once again, because, not going to lie, these didn't have the best track record for reliability when they were new, but having Journe have gone through it, within the past 2 years is huge. So
he had a reputation for a while of where things would go back and forth from client to service to client to service, but I am very happy to report that we don't see that anymore. Now when stuff gets sent in, it gets serviced, it comes back, and it works. So I'm really glad that doesn't happen. And I think, with any young company,
of course,
right? Because you don't know how a movement is going to age, how it's going to run, how things are going to go in the long term.
Well, so and like you said, like we were talking about too, no one else puts together a watch like Journe. No one engineers their movements like Journe. It's so unique. It's so different.
And think about the 5 watches on this table and how completely different they are. They're that way because people made this stuff, right? They're made by people. There's going to be some level of learning curve and stuff there, especially if you're doing something so new like Journe was doing with a lot of his complications or something like this. I mean, can you imagine how much R&D went into this? I didn't mean to like pull it back to that, but it's just, of course, it's true, right?
Yes, you did. I do love the fact that we have, brand new brand, like, Biver, whatever you want to say. This is the new word that you can yell at me for how I pronounce, but we have brand new brand.
Nobody will do that.
We have, no one ever does that. Brand new brand, kind of like the last wave of indies. Then you have like the real stalwarts, the ones that have been around. The old guard. The old guard, it's crazy. So, kind of the beauty of the watch world is why it's so much fun for us. So, all right, we're done nerding out on that stuff. Let's move on before we absolutely run out of every single minute that we have. Okay. All right. I just want to go ahead and say, Rob did preparation. Rob did research for this show. I don't know what to do because
Can't
this has
say,
never happened before.
But I don't prepare.
All right, Rob.
Can't say it.
You take over, buddy. What are we doing?
There was an article that Jack Forster published on his Substack,
Jack Forster?
which was why you don't really want an objective watch review. And there's been a lot of chatter about this, and a couple other people have responded, and I thought it would be kind of interesting for us to talk about it here, especially with all of you who are in the chat right now. And a couple of points that he raises. One is that a common complaint about watch reviews is that they are not objective and that the review is affected by commercial considerations, such as whether or not the watch in question is produced by a brand that is a commercial partner of the writer, or whether the review was written in the aftermath of a lavish press junket to an exotic location, or whether the watch reviewed is made by a brand which is an advertiser. And he says that those are just a few of those things, and he then goes on to talk about, like, nobody really wants a subjective watch review. And I think he makes this
Nobody wants a subjective watch review?
Oh, sorry, an objective watch review. And he says, think about it like, and he makes this wonderful analogy to a theater review, where he says it's Hamlet, and he says, like, Timothy Chalamet is Hamlet, and Sydney Sweeney is Ophelia, and then The Rock is, what was the friend's name? The Rock was the friend, and he's like, but then you read the review, and it's like the theater seats this many people, and there is this much height to the proscenium, the roof is water resistant to this amount of rain during a performance, and it's a funny comparison, but in many ways it's true. So, like, what do you guys think about this? Well, do you think? Hold on, I'll get to you in a second.
Damn it, I'm getting.
Do you guys think that there is a place for objectivity in watch reviews, or are you more interested in somebody's personal opinion?
Okay.
Your turn.
So my immediate answer, so the question is, does anybody really want an objective watch review? And my immediate answer was, yeah, of course. But
so wrong.
But I said, yeah, but actually, maybe no.
Okay.
Because I think part of the issue here is that we tend to forget that we have access to a crazy amount of stuff. Like, if I didn't work for EWC, I would never see any of these watches in person that are on this tray, unless I came in and I bothered Rob for hours at a time, which I don't do. Or I wouldn't do. And this is just like a tiny, tiny, tiny sliver of what is available to us and what we get to see. So there is part of watch reviews are for people who probably don't have access to things, and they do want to get basic, dry information. But I know personally, for me, if I am looking for any review, I don't just want a bunch of specs. No. I want someone's opinion, because I seek out, whether it's Rob Russell or Jack Forster or whoever it might be online or anywhere, I seek them out because I trust. First of all, I like their voice. I trust their knowledge. I trust their taste, and I want to know what they think of it. I don't want you to be a mouthpiece for a brand and to just advertise to me.
And that pulls into the next part of, like, where does that trust come from, and how is that trust established? Right. That's an even deeper argument, because for me, if I'm looking at reviews, I want to know what it's like to live with it. I want to know what it's like to own it. What is that experience like? If I want specs, I go to the manufacturer's
I was going to say,
website.
I go to the brand for the spec sheet if I want specs.
And sometimes, like, with old watches, it's harder because they obviously don't list them anymore, although a lot of brands are getting better about having, like, archival pieces in there.
Sure, they are, yeah.
But like specs, I'll go there. If I want to find out what it's really like to own the thing, whatever it may be, then I want a review. And this is where so Jack then goes on to say, objective is, if you ask me, a red herring. Always makes me think of Tim Curry. And it is not what readers want anyway, at least not as a general rule. I think what readers generally prefer is an unbiased review. But even then,
no.
Who in the entire, as my daughter would say, the entire woolly world is unbiased?
But I was going to say,
nobody.
I don't even think there is a way to actually put forth a completely unbiased review of anything. If it was totally unbiased, you would just be stating pure fact, and it would just be specs. It's not interesting in that way. Like, that's what we're saying, is that I don't think that any review inherently can be unbiased or totally totally objective. It just doesn't. That's not possible. And everybody in the chat so far that I've seen coming through is saying that you want opinion. You
Yes.
want to know what someone thinks of it. You want some color. Like, I guarantee there are certain people out there who are engineers or whatever who just want, like, pure specs. They want to know, you know, the rate that the balance wheel oscillates at.
Even then, I feel like you will reach a point at the end of this objective technological analysis
Yes.
of the watch movement where they are going to say it's either better or worse because of X,
Sure.
right? You're going to reach that point, and at that point, I don't care how objective you are, as soon as you say something is better or worse,
Right. And I think, so like Jack's saying that people actually want unbiased reviews, I like wholeheartedly disagree with that. I think people want honest reviews. I don't care if you come to the table or I ask you and you give me the most biased review of this Reverso I've ever heard.
which you would get.
And as long as, like, I know that this guy loves Reversos and I can, you know, give it, you know, dial it back a little bit, like,
But wouldn't you also then say, hey, this guy is obsessed with Reversos.
Yeah.
He can talk about them a lot. He's handled a lot. He's read a lot about them. He really likes them. He's probably the best person to actually ask what he thinks about this Reverso because that's his wheelhouse.
as long as I know that you're
Right?
not bullshitting me, Rob, like, that's fine. I want to know your opinion on
That
stuff.
that then lends to like his whole point about like, you know, is there some ulterior motive at play? You know, was I treated to a very nice dinner by JLC or whatever? Have they given me a watch or something
think
like that? And I mean, to believe that anything exists, like, if you look at stuff and you're like, oh, this is purely journalism, like in this day and age, it's foolish, right?
But I also think that is honestly diminishing the abilities and the intelligence of both the reviewer and the reader. If you, Jack Forster, cannot go on some press junket to Geneva or wherever it might be, have a great meal, stay in a nice hotel, and pick up any of these watches and then write a review, I really think, yes, there is the issue of people wanting to maintain access. I know that happens a lot in the car world where if you put out a bad review of a Ferrari, guess what? You're not going to get another. I mean, Chris Harris didn't review a Ferrari for like 10 years because he said something bad about them. You know what I mean? So like, there obviously is that game that is something different.
That says more about Ferrari.
That says more about the industry.
That says
I agree.
a lot more about Ferrari
agree.
than Chris Harris. I don't know who that is, by the way.
Oh my God.
But that tells me that Ferrari is so easily wounded.
Right.
And it's like, come on, man.
But that's,
like, you should stand by what you make and be proud of it, and you take what comes.
Right.
Like, I made art full-time for a long time, right? And like, I am very used to the fact that like, not everybody's gonna like your stuff.
watch our last episode and you will learn all about that. Yeah.
You can't please everybody.
Right.
And so, I don't know. I thought it was an interesting conversation.
I think it is too. I think it's a little pedantic, obviously, but it's quite interesting. And
But it's in this day and age, it's so important because influencers and the way the whole blogosphere works and the way that journalism works these days, especially in a time when, unfortunately, like journalism is a really tough industry.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's really, really tough because you can't rely on readership.
I think this goes back to the honesty piece of it, though, on both sides. On both sides. Because as long as, if I know that you, whoever you are, got a flight, a meal, and a hotel comped to have the opportunity to review whatever the product is, that's fine. I can bake that into how I, as an intelligent, educated consumer of the review, interprets it.
And that is the way you should treat your audience.
Yeah.
And with that, I will finish with Jack basically saying the same thing, which is lack of bias is not synonymous with objectivity. The latter may be desirable in a news story, but reviews are by their nature more editorial in tone than straight reporting. Otherwise, they don't have much more to offer than the spec sheet.
Did you mean to throw that in my face?
I meant to go behind me. It must be the wind.
Right, the wind in this incredibly hot room. We finally get a nice day in Boston. It was like 65 degrees, and it's no lie, 87 degrees in this room right now. I am sweating. Okay.
Warm.
Now, like I said earlier in the show, we just published a really incredible article about stone dials. where they, you know, kind of the history of it, where they are now, how they've kind of been democratized over the past few years, which is actually really interesting because I've obviously seen it happening. I've seen, there's a lot of brands, you know, from Denison, like on the lower end, Denison and what was the one that you...
That Isotope.
Isotope.
That Isotope watch was very cool.
All of a sudden, there's all of these stone dials, like at all different price points, when even 5 years ago, 10 years ago, they were, like you needed to have deep pockets in order to get yourself into a lapis dial or an onyx dial or whatever it might be. So the industry has changed. There are all these new companies that are creating, that have figured out new ways to stabilize these materials to reduce breakage, to reduce waste, and to make it more efficient and more cost effective for more brands to use them. And like Rob mentioned earlier in the show, it really seems like there's a resurgence now in interest in stone dials because they kind of died out for a while. It kind of like they had this weird stigma a little bit where just like two-tone, it was dated and it was 70s and people didn't want it. Whereas like now everybody's realizing, holy crap,
the 70s is very in right now.
70s is hot right now, buddy.
I feel like the 70s and the 90s are like very much in focus in terms of like what people are
we could
at.
ask our resident young person over there, but producer Ben, I don't understand the lingo, so we won't ask him. But Robin, it got Rob and I thinking. So we encourage you to go over to our website, to go to our blog, The Collective, and read the latest article. It's a really, really well researched.
And some great photography.
Great photography. Quotes from a director at Piaget, which is one of the biggest names when it comes to stone dials. So go ahead and check that out. But that got Rob and I thinking about what are some of our favorite stone dials personally. So we kind of did a little bit of a deep dive to figure out what we thought, and we're going to run through them now. And I'll kick it off with one that I very nearly bought.
You were real
I was
close.
so close, and then decided to go with something else. But this Rolex Datejust reference 16018 with a tiger eye dial. So this is just like, tiger eye is a type of quartz. It's got so much vibe to it. This full yellow gold, I've actually, we talked about this previously with, I think we had a yellow gold onyx style Datejust.
Oh,
and
Datejust or Date 8?
No, it was the Datejust, because I actually prefer the Datejust to the Day-Date version of this. I love that you, especially on this one, you get, this incredible brown, the yellow gold paired with this gorgeous, striated brown. And then you get the gold coronet, the gold hands, no hour markers whatsoever, and then you just get T-Swiss T and the superlative chronometer tag down above 6 o'clock. So
also gold jubilee, man.
Gold super jubilee, with the hidden clasp. This is, if I can open it right now, this is so good. This is from 1978, I think.
And condition's incredible.
Condition is gorgeous on this. You really just don't see many of these, and because this goes back to when this was made. Sorry, I've got my greasy, sweaty fingerprints all over it. When this was made in the late 70s, again, stone dials were incredibly difficult to manufacture because the brands needed to slice incredibly thin layers of the material and then mount them. And even if they survived the cutting process, a huge percentage ended up cracking when they went to set the hands.
It's so rich. It is so rich. I love it.
It's amazing. So that's one of my top 3 favorite of all time.
So I also went with a Rolex.
You have to.
I don't think you could make this list without at least one Rolex ending up on there because they have a great history of this. So for me, I went modern and went with a Day-Date with a carnelian dial. And what I like about this one is, to me, the best Day-Date, the classic Day-Date, is yellow gold champagne, like that classic Rolex.
A little boring,
president.
but okay.
And this is you take that and you just lift it a little bit. So you get this lovely, bright orange stone. I love the diamond set Romans.
I can't believe you like that.
It's just, oh, come on, man. It's just enough
Rob, can you
bling.
imagine if this didn't have the Romans?
Oh, no, I can't.
Hold on. If it was just like that Datejust and it had no markers whatsoever, and it was just the day and the date and the coronet, and that was it, that would be so awesome.
I want the diamond Romans, man.
Of course you do.
I love it. I think this is so good. And it's 36 millimeters.
Which is perfect, yes.
Which is the right size for me. And this to me is what a lovely piece of stone. And like with all of these watches, the fact that no two will be the same, to me is very appealing. I like that individuality of it. I like that it's not Romans all the way around, right? Which is cool. You just get those like serifed hour markers, and then the 6 and the 9. Like, it's perfect.
I like it less.
It's perfect. It's so good.
I do love the carnelian though. So one of the ones that I almost picked was that Genta Orsan with the fire opal, which looks a lot like carnelian. Like that bright.
You don't see a lot of stones that color, which is why it stuck out to me.
Yeah. That's. I mean, all right. I'll give it to you. You had to have a good Rolex on there. That's a good one. All right. Next up on my list. I think this is actually my favorite, but I had to bury the wild one that I found for my third. But the Piaget Warhol. So what was formerly known as the Piaget Black Tie watch, recently re-released by the brand
in tremendous style.
I want one of these in the worst way. I've always really been interested in this. So when it debuted back in the 70s, it had a Beta 21. It was a quartz watch with a Beta 21 movement in there. And Andy Warhol famously had a collection of Piagets, and he was well known to wear, along with some Cartiers as well, but he was well known to wear this particular style of Piaget. He was photographed at like Studio 54 and all the hotspots. And he was kind of like an unofficial ambassador for the brand a little bit. And a few years ago, Piaget actually partnered with Warhol's estate, or the foundation of his estate, to basically recreate this line and to name it the Warhol. There's a one that came out recently that is like a multicolored dial with the geometric shapes and everything.
I saw that in the article.
That really, is reminiscent of some of his, blockier, more bolder prints and whatnot. Yeah. But this is just such an incredible piece. It's big. I don't have the dimensions, but it is on the larger side.
But no lugs. And to me, like no lugs, that stepped case, I like the one that's got the steps better than the one with the hobnail and the gems. Like that stepped case like that, no lugs, stone dial, no seconds, no problem.
My favorite is that one, the green, so it's white gold with green meteorite.
Yeah.
There's a few different, like you can just walk into a Piaget boutique and if they, there are a few that they supposedly stock. The Tiger's Eye, the Malachite, a few others. I think the Tiger's Eye.
Malachite.
But you can also totally customize it if you want to. I mean, there was that one that had the sapphires and the concentric rings there. So like you can get as wild as you want. But I just think this is such a distinctive design. It now has an automatic movement in there, so you get
which is good,
which is amazing. And the reason I actually totally glossed over this at the beginning, but one of the reasons why Piaget was able and is now kind of like thought of as like the father brand of stone dials is that they mastered the ultra thin movement, which allowed them to use these dial materials that were slightly thicker. Because previously you would end up having like these thick pancakes of case, thick movement, thick dial. Like it would just get totally unwieldy really quickly. Whereas this, they were able to use one of their ultra thin movements, and obviously the newer technology that allows them to create all these different stone dials. So that I think is
strong.
I really want one, honestly. Yeah.
So for me, I went Platinum Speedmaster. And what I like about this...
This is the most boring choice.
No way! It's platinum! It's a Platinum Speedmaster.
That's the dumbest thing.
With a 3-2-1 movement and then meteorite in the subs.
Oh, God.
And I love this. I love the fact that they took the moon watch and they took stuff from outer space and put it on
they
the dot.
Put a piece of the moon on a moon watch.
It's not the moon.
I know. It's a meteor.
But to me, like, it's so fitting in every way. And it's also, like, it's super stealth. I love a Speedy on a strap. I think Speedy should always be worn on straps. They always look better on straps than the bracelet.
Sorry. Time out. That might be the hottest take you've ever had on the show, full stop.
That's the hottest take? No way.
Hold on. I just want to, can we repeat that? You just said that every Speedmaster.
Speedmasters always look better on a strap.
Oh my God. Rob is incredibly wrong today.
When you see it on a, I was going to say a spaceman. When you see it on an astronaut and it's on the outside of the suit, it's not on a giant bracelet. Rob, they didn't get like 18 extra links.
When was the last time you wore a spacesuit, bro?
Not soon enough. I'll tell you what, man. I'm ready. Anyway,
all right.
That's killer. I love it. And these are all different. This is one that recently got sold to one of our clients. And one of the reasons he really liked it was the coloration of the meteorite in the dials.
There.
And
is
it's
nice.
so cool because it does. Meteorite oxidizes because it has a high iron content in it. And so you get these different colors in there and everything. And to me, it's killer looking. The glossy black against the meteorite creates amazing contrast. It's not a full stone dial, which is what I really thought you were going to give me a hard time about. But
there's other things.
It's not a full stone dial, but it's a killer watch. And that's all I got to say. I'm done.
Sorry, I forget. Is it onyx with meteorite or is it lacquer with meteorite? The dial. The black.
It says onyx. Oh, it is a full stone dial. It's onyx and meteorite. I win twice. Oh my
God, you're such an idiot.
I win twice.
This is what happens when Rob does research. Like, what the hell? All right.
I forgot it was onyx.
I will say, my problem with onyx is that Rob didn't even know that it was onyx. Like, it's a little bit like it could be lacquer.
It could be black lacquer, but it's better that it's onyx.
All right, whatever. That's fine, I guess, Rob. Way to not dream big, but that's fine.
Dude, that is dreaming big. I'd love to own that watch.
Okay. All right, my final pick was one that I honestly didn't even know existed until I started doing some more research. This is the AP Royal Oak reference 14701 BC with a bloodstone dial.
This is when less is more.
Yeah.
And you take away the hour markers.
Holy
and
hell.
This is like...
This is one of 5 pieces that were made back in 1993. It's a full white gold, 36 millimeter Royal Oak case with a bloodstone, also known as jasper dial. So you get this like incredible, beautiful teal green color with these flecks of like coppery red kind of all throughout it. This blew my mind when I found it because I was trying to think of, I love AP and I was trying to, I couldn't remember any stone dial APs really, so I was doing some research and I stumbled across this one. This sold at Phillips, at an auction at Phillips in 2022 for 277,000
I was going to say
francs.
that's a 200K watch.
Oh my God!
That far surpasses it, obviously.
And the condition on this looks
something
banana.
US,
yeah, it's like 320 or something. But like this is.
It's sharp.
Unbelievable.
It's real sharp.
And I didn't even realize that 2 of my picks didn't, they don't even have hour. Actually, all 3 don't have hour markers. I think it's just like letting the stone speak, letting it kind of be the star of the show.
Let it breathe.
Unlike this Onyx Speedmaster that you didn't even know was Onyx. This one, there's no mistaking that it's, jasper, it's bloodstone, it's something incredible. Like, I was blown away by this watch.
The point was not the Onyx. The point was the meteor.
Okay. All right, pal.
Okay.
You keep on justifying it.
In the interest of unobtainable watches.
Well, you went full unobtainable.
As soon as I think of stone dials, this to me has always been like, it's a unicorn. This is a white whale, because we'll never see one here. But the FP Journe Tourbillon with a jade dial. And I mean, come on. Like, who else even uses jade?
Right.
I've never seen jade in any other wristwatch. I'm sure it's out there.
There were a few recently. I remember Watches and Wonders last year. Did LVMH do it? Whatever. There were a few jade dial things, but yeah, it's super rare.
That color, man, keep your Tiffany blue turquoise business.
Rob's all about the pastels.
That jade, all it needs is a little pink, and it'd be perfect.
I do want to say, I cannot believe you did not pick those dumb Mosers with all the different color dials.
I have to admit that I might have screwed up there. And it did not occur to me until you said something.
Rob
were like,
sent me his picks.
How did you not pick the Moser? And I went...
I was like, I remember like 6 weeks of my life having to listen to you talk about how much you loved the pink and the green one and how you wanted one and how he almost bought one and all this crap. So Rob does all this preparation this week and he still forgets about his favorite stone dial watch out there. Like, God, do you guys see what I'm dealing with on a weekly basis here?
I may have missed that one.
All right, we had to have one quick honorable mention. Because this one, we were both talking about it. We're like, neither of us want it, but it's still probably one of the most insane stone dial, stone everything watches, period. So for only watch in 2024, Bulgari made the Octafinissimo Marble, and this is bananas. So obviously Octa Finissimo Tourbillon. So underneath all of that, that's not just like a wrap. Underneath all of that, that's actually a standard titanium case and bracelet. That would be hilarious, actually. Titanium Octa Finissimo Tourbillon. But then on top of that, they put a layer of, it's called Verdi Alpi green marble, and on every single one of those links, on every facet of that case, there's a 0.5 millimeter of that marble, and then on the dial, there's 0.6 millimeters, a layer over the titanium base plate. So like, what in the absolute hell? That sold for 190,000 Swiss francs at Only Watch in 2024.
That's, you know what? If you've got the money, what a cool thing
charity,
to own. But also, what a cool thing to own. Like, I totally support whoever bought that, because that...
It's so insane.
How is it any different than buying this, right?
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Like,
I love it so much.
It is absolutely ridiculous in all the best ways. It was probably hell to make that thing.
Dude, look at all the facets.
It was hell.
Look at that watch. Look at all the
facets. Stuff. It was hell to make that.
Rob,
so, like,
can you imagine sizing that bracelet?
I'm not touching it, bro. I'm not banging pins out of that.
You need a chisel to size it. All right, so that's that. We have a couple minutes left. Rob and I, actually, you know what? Hey, guys, let us know in the comments. Let us know in the chat.
Oh, yeah.
Hit us with your favorites, because...
What did we miss?
What did we miss other than the Moser that Rob clearly missed? But, like, really, I think that stone dials are having a resurgence. I think there's so many interesting things out there at every price point. You can get into one for, like, a couple $1,000s, or obviously, you know, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands
of dollars.
It's so cool that it's accessible. I love that it's accessible. Really like that. It really makes things so much more interesting and so much better. To close it out, we want to tease a little competition that Rob and I are deciding to embark on. If you've been paying attention, Swatch, I think it was last week, they debuted this new AI tool where you go onto their website, you put in a prompt, and it creates, based on that prompt, a swatch for you. So Rob and I went ahead and did that.
But not for ourselves.
Earlier today, Rob and I both sat down independently, and we created what we think are the perfect representation of the other in swatch form. We don't know what the other one made. I know what I made. Rob knows what he made. We placed the order. They should be coming within the next week or two. We're going to reveal them on our next live show, which actually will be 3 weeks from today. We're changing the cadence because we want to make sure we coincide with Watches and Wonders, which is April 16th or something.
Yes.
So we'll be back on April 9th. Oh, I had this all written down and I forget now, but we'll let you know. Pay attention to our socials. And 16th. Thank you, Kevin.
You were right. We're back on the 16th.
So anyways, though, we're coming up with a little competition. We're going to reveal both of these watches in the lead up on our Instagram channel independently. Rob and I are both not going to see them, what the other one designed, until the 16th of April on our next show, when we gift them to each other. But most importantly, we're going to set up a little contest. We're going to ask you guys to vote on who did a better job, who made the more ridiculous, more fitting, whatever, however you want to vote, who did a better job, and we're going to give away the one that is everybody's favorite, and then we're going to think of a way to punish each other with the one that no one likes. We're going to, I don't know, some kind of competition, someone who does something dumb each week, and then for each show, whoever loses the competition is going to have to wear the watch live on camera. So
for the next show, yeah. So I am very excited because I think I have encapsulated you in a plastic watch in the absolute best way possible.
I think I absolutely captured your essence in plastic quartz form.
I cannot wait. I cannot wait.
All right. Thank you guys, as always, for joining us. We so appreciate it. This was a blast. I can't believe it's already been an hour. But we'll be back April 16th for Watches and Wonders. Keep an eye on on this channel. Keep an eye on our Instagram page because we actually have a lot of really cool content coming out at you. So thanks for joining. We'll see you guys soon.
See you in 3 weeks, everybody.
See ya.